This podcast recorded before a live internet audience. To learn how to listen and watch live, visit tunein.alphageekradio.com.
TrekCast.
The Internet, the digital frontier. These are the voyages of the TrekCast crew. Its continuing mission to explore strange new ideas, to seek out new facts and new observations, to boldly go where no Trek fans have gone before.
Hello and welcome to the most dangerous Star Trek podcast in the universe. I am the Vice Principal of Star Trek, David Thomas Ivy. With me, as always,
President of Star Trek, Darren Benjamin.
And you've been on an away mission, but we'll get to that in a bit.
Yeah, it was a nice away mission, let me tell you.
You're looking very Vulcan today, by the way.
Oh, yeah, you like my hat?
So we are TrekCast, TrekCast.com. TrekCast@gmail.com is our email address. Facebook group /TrekCast and TrekCast video on YouTube, which you might be watching right now if you're looking at us.
Yeah, me and my fancy new hat.
Yeah, see, now we can dress up for the occasion because we're not just an audio thing anymore.
Yeah, I mean, look at me, I'm decked out. Trekkie, got the hat,
Right.
the Vulcan ears, everything. It's crazy.
So, if you haven't noticed, last week was a humongous fan thing for the new movie, Star Trek Beyond.
Yeah, I mean, well, should I just start at the beginning?
Yeah, well, you went. You got invited. You went. You did the whole thing.
I invited you, by the way, but you said you couldn't make it.
It was a school day. I couldn't go.
So let me start off by thanking Brian Ever at TrekNews.net. He's the one that let me, I won the tickets on the website.
Right.
So those were courtesy of him, not because I'm the president of Star Trek. I don't even know how I didn't get invited to that. But anyway,
you should have had a whtle delegation to go into that.
Yeah. So I guess I'll just start at the beginning. Me and my buddy Jeff, who I worked with at the Experience, went to Hollywood.
Down all the way to Hollywood, California.
Down to Hollywood. We had a good and basically we went to beforehand. We went to meet up with a bunch of Trekkies like Larry Nemechek and some fellow podcasters and stuff.
Right.
And it was funny because I walked into the I think it was Lucy's, the Mexican restaurant. Are you familiar with it?
No.
It's right across the street from Paramount Pictures.
Okay.
Or Studios. But I opened the door, and Adam Savage is standing right there in front of me from Mythbusters.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, did I go in the wrong door? Am I in some other foreign land or something?
He must be one heck of a Trekkie because he was at the Star Trek Experience sale thing, too.
Yeah.
That's the guy with the beard.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, he was there. I don't know what he bought. I wanted to talk to him to see if I could find out what he bought from that auction, but I didn't get a chance. Anyway, we met up. Then we made our way over to Paramount Studios. And got in the line, got checked in. Apparently, like 100 people that were outside that had tickets didn't even get in. They just filled the event. I
was looking at pictures, and it looked way bigger than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, it was basically
like thousands of people.
Yeah, I think it ended up being like 1,000 people, but I heard it was like 500.
It looked big.
Because it's funny, the posters they gave us were numbered to 1,000. But the golden tickets that they gave us that's part of the story.
The golden ticket.
Well, they gave us it's funny. So I'll more on that later. But we got into Paramount Studios. They marched us over they gave us our badges. They marched us over to Studio 31, which is where they filmed the original Star Trek back in 1966.
Okay.
Which I thought was amazing. I was like, this is great. I get to actually be standing where Kirk, Spock, and McCoy, all those guys were just hanging out. It was kind of neat walking through the studio because you've seen so many images over the years of like Shatner and Nimoy, in their uniforms, walking around the lot. Right,
and like I said, it's when you go into Paramount Studios, it's actually like the archway with the little guard tower in the middle. Yeah. It's like an I Love Lucy episode.
Yeah. Although when we went in, we went through a side door. It was weird. It was just like this little.
Well,
door.
They put the nerds in the back.
Yeah, nerds in the back.
Yeah, nerds and loose women go use the back door.
So anyway, they opened the doors to that, and they made this studio they made it look like the Bridge of the Enterprise, kind of.
I noticed that they put a lot of work into this.
They put some serious effort into it. That's why I was so impressed. So we go in. They have seats all the way around. They had like refreshed water and popcorn and stuff. Everybody got sat down, and then the event started. They showed a really cool video. It was 50 on 50, which is basically stars doing their 50 seconds of why they love Star Trek.
Oh,
for the 50th anniversary.
Star Trek stars or just everybody?
Just anybody and everybody. There was a couple of the actors from Star Trek, but like Rihanna was on there.
Rihanna.
And I was like, Rihanna? That was crazy.
Oh.
Yeah, I'd never expected that in a million years.
No.
But then Adam Savage came out. They did a whole he did a whole intro thing, and then he brought out J.J. Abrams, Justin Lin, which is the director of the new movie.
Okay, yeah, I saw some of the footage of them talking, and we'll get to that in a bit about the accent art stuff.
Yeah, I think I posted on the Facebook page of the video, and it's actually the whole thing's going to be online soon, or on the DVD for the movie. I'm sure it'll definitely be on that.
All right.
But anyway, they did a Q&A. They talked about the movie. Then J.J. Abrams, that's when he announced that they were going to give us tickets to the world premiere
Okay.
of Star Trek Beyond, and that is going to be at San Diego Comic-Con on the 20th of July. They're doing it first time ever. They're doing an outdoor screening, IMAX screening.
Whoa.
And they're doing it all in front of a live orchestra. So I'm like, how cool is that? You know, I'm going to be able to go back and meet the whole cast and crew.
Right.
Michael Giacchino is going to be conducting it. I'm sure J.J. Abrams will be there again. The director will be there.
You got to get the Comic Con. Well, you go to Comic Con. So.
Yeah, I'm not actually going to Comic Con. It's already sold out. But if I can get tickets, I might. You know, who knows? I might be able to rustle up a ticket or two.
Right.
But you know, there's a lot of details I'm leaving out. You know, because obviously, you know.
Well, as someone who was just following it from the outside.
Okay.
We saw a lot of the people come in, and it was like Simon Pegg did a whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna play devil's advocate on a lot of this stuff.
Okay.
Do you think, especially when Simon Pegg came up and talked about it, like was he was there? Or?
No, he was at he's filming another movie.
Okay, but he came up on the screen and did like a thing.
Yeah, he did make it a special like video message for everybody.
I kind of thought this was the, let's fix what happened with the last trailer kind of a thing. You know, like let's.
Oh, you mean like they're doing damage control?
Yes, severe damage control. Like,
I don't think so. I think
because would they have done this before? Do you think if the trailer had been?
They announced it after right after CinemaCon because everybody was like freaking out. Like, remember they were freaking out about there's no promotional stuff for the new movie yet.
Okay.
And the CinemaCon is the big convention for theater owners.
Right. Okay.
And then when they didn't do that, everybody's like, "What the heck?" And then they like the day after they announced the fan event. Okay. So I don't think they necessarily were doing it just to try to
appease the angry mob.
Well, they definitely did it for the fans,
right? For
sure, that's 100%, and they went way over and above what they could have done.
Well, that's kind of what I'm thinking because it was the main people that were upset about the trailer and the Beastie Boys and all that whole hullabaloo that happened there was the fans.
Yeah,
because non-fans don't care. They were like, oh, whatever, Beastie Boys started.
Yeah,
who cares?
You know what? Like everybody I talk to that's not a fan loves these movies.
Well, you didn't care. Yeah,
no problems with them whatsoever. And I did talking to a lot of people that went to this event. A lot of them were the ones that, I can't stand Into Darkness. You know, I watched it once in the theater. I never bought it on DVD. Yeah, exactly. And I think ultimately it was a very smart move on their part because I think it won some of those people over. Not in the sense that they're gonna just walk in there and they're gonna love it no matter what, but in the sense that hey, we're gonna promote the heck out of this. We're gonna like. This is going to be this is a really neat thing.
Well, I did see, but I mean, I'm like I said, I'm I'm doing this on purpose, but it seems like kind of like buying your vote. Like, oh yeah, well,
yeah.
we're gonna bring all the hardcore fans, and we're gonna give them stuff, and we're gonna show them the stuff, and we're gonna talk to them, and then send them back out into the Twitterverse, and let them all, and let them all talk about how cool it was.
It's brilliant marketing. I mean, you get the fans behind it, and then let it go. And
they should have done this in 2009.
Yeah, maybe
to get that ball rolled, to get the fans
part
behind
of the
it.
thing is they were also really heavily promoting like the 50th anniversary, like, hey, this is the kickoff to the 50th anniversary celebration of Star Trek. That being said, it's brilliant marketing. I think why like they skipped the theater owners. Who cares? These guys are going to see it anyway.
Yeah, theater.
Just give it to the fans. Let the fans have something before anybody else.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, to be honest with you, I mean, I'm being devil's advocate, but I like what they did. It just seems like,
they're just trying to put out the fire.
Yeah, we blew it with the fans a few months ago, so let's make it up to them. In spades.
We were talking. A bunch of us were talking about trailers in general, and what a lot of people don't know is that in Hollywood, they will cut a trailer. What they'll do is they'll hire a firm to cut a trailer, and they just want to market it to certain people.
Oh, for sure.
And I think that's what they did with the original trailer for Star Trek Into Darkness.
It's funny you mentioned that because this week also marked the second Ghostbusters trailer, and are we working?
Sorry. So we did a little. It looked like a little hiccup or something.
Oh no!
On the screen.
the don't pay any attention to the man behind the curtain. The Ghostbusters 2 trailer came out.
Yeah.
And was just about as bad as the first one. And so I think Hollywood is maybe paying, or maybe they're not yet, but I think they're going to finally get around to going, we should maybe pay attention to trailers. Because I agree. They hire firms to do them, or they hire marketing departments to do them.
Yeah.
Not asking the filmmaker at all what this is about or what it should be.
Unless the filmmaker doesn't own the product, the studio owns the product.
Right. And a good example is the very first Star Wars trailer. You know, 1,000,000 years in the making. And like, what is...
Speaking of, today is the day that Star Wars premiered in the United States.
Oh, yeah.
March 25th.
Oh, that's right. But, you know, you watch the original trailer. It has nothing to do with the movie.
Nothing.
It's
Yeah.
like 1,000,000 years in the making, good versus evil. And it was like, you could tell that Lucas had nothing to do with it because it didn't have anything to do with it, you know? So, I mean, that's an old Hollywood thing, but that still happens today. And I think maybe with these big, like, you know, because again, being the way the Ghostbusters trailer was taken, almost even worse than the Star Wars trailer. I think maybe they're going, well, we better get this right before we put it out because this could kill our movie before we even get started.
Yeah.
You know, and this seemed like okay, we kind of blew it with the music thing. The new trailer, we'll talk about that in a second because I saw that the next morning. You saw it that night. Yeah. And here's what's funny. And I'm just gonna I'm just gonna call this devil's advocate. This side of the screen is devil's advocate.
If you don't like what David's saying, look to the left.
Yeah, just look at
right.
my Vulcan friend. I bet there were people clapping for that trailer that if they would have seen it on their computer the next day would have went, oh, this sucks. You know, I'm just guessing.
Well, yeah, you know, because you're in the thick of it. It's
right,
exciting.
Yeah,
we're watching it on a big screen with a crowd of 1,000 Trekkies.
It's kind of like when you go to an auction, and I've seen this happen 100 times, and it always shocks me. Especially if it's an unannounced auction, like you're at a convention and they start selling stuff. People start bidding on crap that they would never want and would never have. And if it was just on their Amazon feed, would never buy this. But they get all wrapped up into the hype of this thing, and like, oh, $400 for this, like cup that John Delancey drank out of. But it's like, you wouldn't if that just scrolled by your Amazon, you'd have never bought. You wouldn't have bought that for $1.
The Reskin flute going for what, $45,000.
Yeah, people get wrapped up, which is actually good marketing. You get people excited, you get them involved in it, and then, like I said, I'm not saying that's a guarantee, but I'm sure there were cynics in that crowd that you probably knew.
Quite honestly, I was very cynical of it. When the trailer ended, I was like, that was good. It wasn't like great.
It wasn't much different than the first one. Really?
It was a lot more. They had some good character moments in there, and actually, after I watched that, they went into clips that you can only see at the event.
Okay, that's what I figured they would.
And that is what got me. The trailer, I was kind of like, it's exciting, it's actiony. It's Star Trek. It's the new trilogy, the new movies for sure.
Right.
But the stuff that I saw afterwards, it had some really personal, like, Star Trek moments, like some really cool Kirk and McCoy moments that made it feel really, really Star Trek-y. Because
just seeing the trailer, I mean, I'll just remember this side of the screen and this good cop, bad cop. I was so happy that I had just mentioned the week earlier that, hey, Hollywood, I was talking about the new show that's coming out, not the movie, but I had just got done saying, we don't like Star Trek for its action. We like it for its, character and stories. And guys in pajamas shooting lasers isn't what Star Trek is or ever was or ever should be. And then I watch the trailer. I'm like, it's guys in pajamas shooting lasers. like, which is fine. I mean, that's cool.
Yeah, it's a motion picture, and we've talked about it. I don't know how many times. Let the movies are action set pieces.
And with the
exception of like Star Trek 3 and 4,
right? Which are the more beloved ones, I don't think this was ever supposed to be action. And I'll say it again, just in case you didn't catch last week's episode, which I can understand because this is weekly. Pick your 5 favorite Star Trek episodes, no matter what series, no matter what season, no matter what. And I'm going to guess that most of those aren't big action. Things. There's probably not even a laser battle in them. It's not even. Some may not. Might be best of both worlds. It's got a little bit of action in it. But you think about it, what's the percentage? I mean, it's tiny. But most people's favorite episodes aren't really all that actiony. And here we go again with this. It was nonstop action and I have another. And this is not
the beginning of the trailer opened with him talking about why he joined Starfleet, which is a change from the original. So, and a lot of people just don't like that either.
That is a little weird. It's a little kind of just flipping the script like that. It's not really what that was. That's not why he joined Starfleet. We don't even know why Kirk joined.
He did it on a dare. He's like, remember Pike was like, I dare you to do better.
I mean, real Kirk.
Oh, you mean Prime Kirk or JJ Kirk?
Prime Kirk.
Okay.
Yeah, like why, we don't even know why he joined. We don't know why any of them. We don't know what their motivations were.
Yeah.
They just joined. They're just into Starfleet.
Yeah, well, we know in the new versions that McCoy did it to get away from his ex.
Right. Yeah.
And Kirk did it on a dare.
Plus, they kind of made the new Starfleet seem more of an. Well, they even say enlist in Starfleet in 09, which is. That was one of those little moments.
More military-ish.
Yeah, that's one of those little moments you go, enlist in Star. You don't enlist in Starfleet. Remember,
it's kind of like the Coast Guard. The Coast Guard, you enlist the Coast Guard, but they're not really there to like fight wars or anything. Although they can defend the borders.
Right, but then you get like Wesley not even getting into Starfleet.
Yeah, which just doesn't make sense to me. He's this genius, but yet he doesn't make.
But that guy with the little tray thing was just geniusier.
More genius.
Yes, I mean he was just and Wesley helped him on a test too.
True.
But I love that aspect that it not only is it the best and the brightest, it's really the best and the brightest. There's it doesn't matter what you. I mean, if you're not your score isn't perfect, they don't take you.
Again, the thing is with these movies is that they are made for general audiences. They're not made for us Trekkies. And that's just the way it's going to be. I mean, if you want to make an art house Trekkie film, great, go ahead.
Well, that's the big question in any form of entertainment. I've actually tackled this, or I haven't tackled this, but this is something that I've even dealt with. Like, are you honest? Do you be, true to yourself? Although that might make people a little on edge or whatever, and you rail it back because like. Do you be true to yourself, and then maybe you become more successful? Like when you watch like band documentaries or musicians or artists, and they did what they were going to do, no matter if anybody liked it or not. And turns out when you do something with that passion, you actually have a better chance of succeeding. That's risky for Hollywood to go, okay, unless they've got someone who made a film like Moon or something that went, no, I'm not going to make this a schlocky action movie. I'm going to make this movie is what I want to make. They made it. It was successful. He stuck to his guns.
The problem with Star Trek is it's owned by a corporation,
and it always has been.
And it's not going to be something like George Lucas having a vision and saying, "Hey, I want to make this."
No, yeah, it wasn't sparked in some like
Roddenberry did it, but unfortunately, the studio owns it now.
But he did it for commercial success. He wasn't doing it as his art. So I get it. So it's a totally different thing, and Star Trek always will be whatever CBS and Paramount say it is. I mean, it's just because they own it.
We have this TV series coming out next year, so I mean, we're not going to be lacking in traditional, like in the sense that we like Star Trek stories,
right?
Whether they're character driven. That being said, the scenes that I saw that were part of the fan thing were those very personal character moments, and would impress me far more than the trailer.
Okay.
Because when I got done watching the trailer, what I really wanted was more of a 50th anniversary kind of like, celebration of Star Trek, and this is what's going on. But what we got was more action and really didn't tell much about the story, other than we know that they're on the 5-year mission,
and they get
attacked, and they're trying to like put the Federation on its side.
Is that the Borg? Is that the Borg attacking them at the beginning?
No, they're called the Swarm.
Oh, okay.
And the bad guy his name is Krall.
Okay, because it looks kind of Borgy. Like to me,
yeah. I'll show you some pictures later. There was one of the suits there from it's Idris Elba's suit,
right? And
it does look very, very Borgish.
Now, just for the record, I did say a year ago that I already claimed what the plot's going to be, and it's going to be a super bad guy that's going to try to kill everybody, and then they have to all work together to defeat him. I did say that before. I mean, I'm just going to guess because that's every Star Trek movie now.
Yeah. Although San Francisco is going to get a break this time.
Oh, really? Hey,
San Francisco's not going to get blown up in this one.
The
space station looks amazing. I think it's called the Yorktown. And you and I will watch the trailer after this, and I'll point out a couple things.
And it also looks like the NX-01 at the end.
That is, it's not, and I can. There's some. If you search online, if you search for USS Franklin, Star Trek, images will pop up of what it is. The back of it totally the NX one,
which is cool. I mean, like,
which is really cool.
Well,
But
and that makes sense in a timeline. They're going to have to. Oh no, because that was before. Yeah, it would be like an older. It's like,
Yeah.
hey, look, they make new, Camaros that look kind of like the old.
it's kind of
Camaros.
funny if you think about it. That part of Star Trek, the Enterprise era is still canon no matter what.
Oh right,
Because the change didn't happen until Kirk was born. That's when the change happened.
or whenever
this
he went
timeline.
through the
So if you're looking at the history of Star Trek, everything that happened before the birth of Kirk is all the same.
BK.
Everything afterwards is different.
Huh, so all BK still there.
BK and AK.
Get my AK. So that's funny. So we could all take solace in that and go, okay, look, all of our Archer is all been saved.
Archer is happy.
That's
There's
saved.
no bending Archer at all. He's Archer through and through.
You get the credit for it. People have mentioned it 100 times on our Facebook group and on emails that when you nailed it with when the Borg in First Contact went back in time.
Yes.
That's what changed everything.
Correct.
And that they went back in time. They crashed. They tried to stop the Phoenix thing. They didn't succeed. Whatever.
Change the whole look of the future because they have that technology now.
But
That's
there-
why the Enterprise looks different.
But
than it does now.
but there were pieces of that sphere
Yeah.
that fell all over, and then they found it in the Enterprise, and
Yep.
that changed everything.
Yep.
It's like that's why time travel's so rough.
So if you want to blame anybody, blame Brandon Braga and Rick Berman for taking
First Contact.
For First Contact, and Ronald D. Moore for that matter, who's
Right.
one of our favorites.
Yeah, and it's funny because that's one of the more beloved Star Trek movies, and that might have ruined everything. Well, not
But
ruined.
that's just a fancy action set piece once again.
the
Although it did have the moral tale of Captain Ahab in as well. Picard. Doing,
yeah, but he didn't end up dying. But
Yes, true.
so that all happened. Like I said, I was excited to see it all. I'm excited for the whole like, hey, Star Trek's back. Like think of 2 years ago when we were just in a valley, a gully,
Yeah, like the whole time we've been doing Star Trek cast.
yeah, it was nothing going on.
Yeah.
Now it's like, oh my god, we could do an entire episode on what happened last week, and we haven't ever been able to do that.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
It's
It's
pretty.
been a long road.
But that's so. Anything else interesting?
So okay, so anyway, I think I left off. Well, the Carl Urban, Chris Pine, and Zachary Quinto came out at the very beginning. They were introduced. They did a Q&A with them, which was really cool. They did some trivia. I had my hand raised the whole time. I was like, "Come on!" They were giving props from the movie.
oh really?
Yeah, some Chinese gal won Jayla's staff. So if we watch the trailer, she's like swinging the staff around.
Right.
She won it. I was like, "Yeah, I wanted
Like,
that."
was she Chinese or was she from China?
She's from Shanghai.
Oh, wow.
Shanghai, yeah.
She flew out from China?
Yeah.
Oh, she
she's
deserves
super
it.
nice too. I was like, hey,
She deserves the
super
staff.
Cool.
Yeah, you deserve the staff. I
Yeah,
mean,
she's going to be at the Las Vegas Con as well.
Well,
She must be a wealthy Chinese person. Be able to go back and forth like
I
that.
know that. Yeah, that's a lot for Star Trek.
So okay, after that, they took us outside. They got everybody champagne, and they had this big thing set up. It was behind a curtain. They're like, hey, we're going to dedicate this road to Leonard Nimoy. So we all got up on this was like
I think it was like a stair. I think I saw a picture. It was taken from way above.
Yeah, like rafters, not rafters. What's the word? I'm looking
Scaffolding?
for? Not scaffolding, just chairs. Gosh, I can't even think of the word right now. But anyway, they got us all up there. They got everybody down in front. They did a dedication ceremony. They named the road.
So it's a road inside the studio.
Inside the studio. And then after that, we all got down and they took us into the theater. They locked our phones up. And then that's when they took us in to show us the trailer and the scenes. Now the scenes, I'll go into a little bit of detail. I don't want to give anything really away.
Right.
One was a really neat moment between Kirk and McCoy. Another was, can you imagine? Like it was kind of, to me, it was kind of like Data's Day. It had that feel to it.
Oh.
Because it was like Kirk was like, he's like, this is day 600 and something out in space, and he's like, I just need to get on land somewhere, and he's just having a rough time. You can see the whole crew's having a rough time, just being, they're away from everybody. They're all stuck with each other in this little tin can, flying around space, and it kind of had that really kind of Data's Day moment for me.
Well, that's the problem that all of the movies have suffered from is there's no time to be idle.
Yeah,
And when you think of all the good Star Trek episodes, especially like Next Generation and Deep Space Nine, even Voyager, some of the best times are those bottle episodes where it's a holodeck. It's not a big life-changing event. It's just something fun that's happening today. It's Fistful of Datas. It's
Got an itch, sorry.
it's it's just some, it's one of the littler, just random things that happens, Oh, there's a computer virus, so we got to get. Those are some of the funnest times. You can never afford to do that in a movie though, because you've got 2 hours. You got to get it in, going fast, boom, 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 and have.
You could say Fast and Furious.
Yeah, you could, and that would be apropos, Justin Lin. But
he seems really cool. He's a lifelong Trekkie.
Okay, now
he said when he JJ approached him, he was like scared. He was like, "But how can I not do this? I love this."
Okay, but yeah, I mean, it makes sense, and I just saw the trailer. I was like, it's action, which is I know it's gonna be. It's always gonna be there.
After that moment where they show Kirk and the crew been stuck in space, which they've never shown in Star Trek. They've always been like shiny happy people.
Right.
And they actually show something you've never seen in Star Trek before. So and then it goes to the scene where they get attacked by the swarm, and it's very intense. I was like, oh my gosh.
Well, the weird thing about that was too is like, and the movies in general, and I mean that's from Star Trek 1 up, is they tear that ship up, don't they? Like it never can get through a movie. Hey, we've even seen it blown up three times now.
Yeah, well, in movies.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well. Star Trek 3, Star Trek Generations,
right,
and then not First Contact, Nemesis.
Nemesis.
They rammed it pretty good.
Yeah,
I mean, all three of these movies, it's got tore up pretty good.
Oh yeah, like terrible.
Hey, it's a tough little ship. Now, who knows what's going to happen? I mean, from what I saw, it's not looking so good. So,
really,
I mean, who knows? I mean, it's a new timeline, so anything goes.
That's true. They can
the one thing I thought was funny was in the fan event, they had placards up for the ship. All of them were NCC 1701A.
Oh.
But they were the ones from that were actually on the A. But I thought it was kind of weird. Like, why would they all have the A on them? So maybe they're gonna have.
What do you mean, like in the hallway or whatever? Or?
Yeah, I'll show you some pictures. But there was a hallway and there was a placard saying NCC 1701A.
Right.
And then inside there was another one that said the A. Then the DJ booth in the other room had the A on it.
Oh.
And so I was like, that's kind of weird. Why would they all have the A?
Unless they made a bunch of those.
They just made a bunch of, but they were all different though. They were different sizes, I think.
Huh.
So I thought that was kind of interesting. So maybe that's like a little Easter egg for the movie.
There's some trivia. So the A we got in the motion picture.
Yeah.
And then it's just
no. It was the original. It was a refit. The A came in Star Trek 4.
Oh.
Remember when they saved the Earth and then they went.
Okay, so that was the A.
Yeah.
Okay, the refit just 1, 2, and
the A was the Yorktown, but they renamed it Enterprise.
Oh, that was in
Star
5.
Trek 4. It was 4.
Well, 4 they were in the Klingon thing.
Yeah, but when they got back, remember they were going back to their new assignment.
Oh, okay,
okay. And Scott, one of them was like, "I hope we get the Excelsior," and Scotty's like, "Why on earth would you want that bucket of bolts?"
That's right.
And then they fly over it, and then it's the Enterprise A.
Oh, okay. So that was the A. So how long did the A last? All the way through the movie.
It was decommissioned, I think, in one of the books. I mean, yeah, it lasted through 6.
Through
obviously.
6, yeah, okay.
But it was decommissioned in one of the William Shatner novels.
And then the B was in Generations.
B was Generations. C was Next Generation. T and
Yesterday's Enterprise.
D was obviously Next Generation.
And E. Now we might get the B in the new show for all we know.
Yeah.
Because
I've heard that there's not going to be no Enterprise. No, it'd be the B. It'd be the B.
No, C.
B. Because Generations, Star Trek, the new series takes place after Star Trek 6.
Okay.
Generations was like 10 years after Star Trek 6.
Okay. Well, the C would be 2, though.
C came like 40 years later.
But still before Next Generation.
Yeah, it could be.
Because they just said somewhere between 6 and Next Generation.
Yeah.
So it could be in the C era or the B era.
I've heard that they're not going to feature an Enterprise in the series, though. At least the first season. No Enterprise. It's going to be Star Trek.
Oh.
So, which would be cool. I'm cool with that. Right. You don't need to have an Enterprise in it.
Nope, my favorite series doesn't.
That's true.
Deep Space Nine does not have an Enterprise in it. It showed up once, but it doesn't need to be there.
So after they screened the footage, they opened up another room, and this was where it got cool. They had a whole bunch of props and uniforms from the new series, but they also had some set pieces like a turbo lift, some transporters. They had the captain's chair. They had like 4 bars set up, a DJ.
Really?
Cool lighting. They had Orion Slave Girls. The actors came in and mingled for a little bit. I got to meet Justin Lin. J.J. Abrams, I walked right up to me, and he got mobbed. I mean, immediately. Like I couldn't even like look at him and say, "Hey, what's up?" I photobombed Chris Pine. What else happened? Just
So it's kind of like a big party happened after.
Yeah, it turned into a big party afterwards. I thought for sure we're gonna get to see the whole movie. I was like, they're gonna show us the whole movie.
I thought you would too.
And I was like, it was like a 4-hour event. And I'm like, what are we gonna do for 4 hours? But I come to find out that's not what it was.
Well, I would always rather go to a party.
But we got invited to the world premiere, which is gonna be a whole nother party.
That's really cool.
I know. I'm super excited.
This is like I said, it's finally pretty smart. I don't know if this is a new marketing person or something at Paramount, but really smart to go, hey, this is a beloved series, beloved by millions of diehard fans. Why don't we kind of reach out to them a little bit instead of just just pissing on them like we have been for the last 5 years?
Yeah.
And because they keep saying we're not making the movies for the fans. Well, yeah, well, thanks a lot, jerks. But now they're kind of saying, again, maybe because of that trailer and how it was received, they're kind of going, oh, but those fans would kind of need those guys.
Yeah,
like, yeah, no kidding.
The other thing that was kind of controversial is that J.J. Abrams came out and said, hey, this fan film thing, Axanar, we're just going to make it go away.
And I don't know what the details of that are. I watched the whole I watched that segment.
Yeah, there's been a lot of like talk about that now, about how he kind of overstepped his bounds. Like he's just doing that because they I think personally they're afraid that it's going to affect the overall ticket sales of the movie, because a lot of people are like, oh, I'm not going to go see that crap as long as they don't support Axanar.
I guess.
And again, it's like you were saying, it's like driving a wedge between the fan.
Well, the weird thing is, like, if you even know what Axanar is, a fan film being made
it's not being made. It's I personally don't think it's ever going to get made.
Well, but you know what I mean, though. But it's like you're talking about there's the people who watch Star Trek movies, which are trying to appeal to everybody.
Yeah.
Then there's the hardcore fans, and then there's there's fans. Then there's like hardcore fans. Then there's fans that know what fan films are. I mean, you're that's a pretty small segment of to appease. I think it's more of just a legal thing. I know Axar's doing a countersuit.
Yeah, I saw that. I'm like, how are you going to countersue?
Shut up. Just stop.
Yeah, just go. Stop.
Just make your movie.
Like if they're willing to say, hey, we're going to drop this case, and then you go ahead and just countersue them, like that's not gonna help you.
No,
they're countersuing, saying that they don't own Star Trek, and I'm like, how? What the? That's just crazy.
I know. Again, like I said,
we're not lawyers.
Yeah, it doesn't affect me either way, and I root for the fans. I'd like them to be able to do what they want.
I would love to see Axanar myself. I think it looks pretty cool.
And to be honest, and I mean, we're a bad example, but
we're always a bad example.
We're a bad example of everything. But we're gonna watch it. We're gonna watch the fan film, and we're gonna watch the regular movie, and we're gonna watch the TV show. And so to us, it doesn't really matter. I don't think the man on the street who's gonna take his date to Star Trek Beyond because it's the movie that came out this week that's never really into Star Trek. He's not even gonna know what Axanar is. It's never gonna cross his radar ever in a million years. So I really don't know what it affects, except you do want to be able to control your IP, and I do understand that completely. But I don't know. It's beyond me. I'm glad I'm hoping it's over.
Beyond.
I'm hoping it's over. I'm hoping it's like, okay, we've got all that out of the way. They can make it or they cannot. Who cares? Just be done with it.
It's funny. It's like you're being a child and watching your parents fight. It's just like you don't want to watch it happen. It's horrible, but it happens. And I'm like, that's the way I feel about Axanar and Star Trek.
Right, or just your two friends in a fight.
Yeah.
You're like, I don't want either one of you to lose, but I don't want either one of you to win either.
I do want to say one thing about Star Trek Beyond right now is that from what I saw, and who I talked to during this event, there's one thing to remember. If you're anti-JJ Trek, whatever, I'm over it. It's been 9 years basically. I've listened to people talk crap. I love it. A lot of my friends love it. I mean, some people don't love it, but this movie is not. It's produced by J.J. Abrams.
It has been 7 years. Wow.
It's been 9. 2009 was the first one. Oh yeah, 7 years. Sorry.
Yeah. Still a long time ago. I was like, really? That's
this movie's not directed by J.J. Abrams. It's not written by Robert Orci or Alex Kurtzman. It's written by Doug Jung and Simon Pegg, and it's directed by Justin Lin. And it's not the same people. It's a different pedigree. So give it a chance before you just say, "Oh, JJ Trek sucks." And
Well, we're all gonna see it.
Yeah.
You know? And
just be open minded, please. I mean, it's just not.
And what's one of those guys is writing the series, right? Kurtzman or
Alex Kurtzman is the executive producer
on the new series.
Yeah,
the CBS.
yeah.
Okay.
And there's going to be, on shows there's always like 6 producers and a couple of executive
exactly.
producers.
And I hope they
But they're not the writers. They're not the.
And I hope they do what Star Trek has always done, which is always farm the writing. Like it's always they have a staff that writes it, but they also accept script ideas, and they just.
I think they should bring in some of the writers, like they did for Enterprise, towards the end, because the 4th season of Enterprise is fantastic.
Right.
And they had some of the writers of the novels involved with that. So I'd give a big thumbs up to like Dayton Ward. I think he'd be great, just for like at least maybe like story consulting or something.
And it's funny. I go back. I was mentioning this about directors. Like I don't know who directors are. That's another thing that to consider. I think my goal in life is going to be try to quelch as much internet rage, but I know that's trying to keep the ocean back with a broom. That's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
But so the next time you hear of a movie coming out, and you're like being written by the guy that wrote Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Oh, it's gonna suck, right? Before you say that. I'm going to go back to my pick your 5 favorite Star Trek episodes, and then don't look it up. Tell me who wrote them.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you, unless it's Harlan Ellison, you have no idea.
Yep.
And who knows?
Well, I'm sure there's people out there that do know. Matter of fact, I know there's people that do know
really?
that information, but that's not something that we dwell on.
We're nerdy. I mean, look at this. And yet, I don't know who wrote any of my favorite, like Pale Moonlight, favorite episode, best episode in the world. Who wrote it? No clue who wrote that.
Yeah, it's like
I don't know who directed it.
It's like going to McDonald's. You don't care who's making your cheeseburger. You
don't.
just want the cheeseburger. You're like, oh, I love it when Juan makes my cheeseburgers.
Oh, yeah,
he makes them so much better.
Oh, yeah, because Steve sucks at them. It's like who knows? You just go and you get it as good.
Yeah.
And so you don't know who directed it, produced it.
That's why I'm saying with Star Trek Beyond, don't go in thinking you're going to hate it, because if you think you're going to hate it walking in, you're going to hate it.
Well, maybe. Or not. I mean. I don't know.
I guarantee you, our good buddy Vernon will hate it.
Yeah.
I guarantee that.
But you know what? I will say this. I bet he'll like the show.
You think so? Okay.
Yeah, I'm thinking.
So how much are we putting down on this?
$1.
$1?
Yeah, I think he'll like the show. And he's just our example. He's been on our show dozens of times.
Yes.
Great friend of ours. I kind of agree with him on everything. That's why I'm not allowed to, because then everybody be like, yeah, I hate David. But
well, a lot of people agree with you too. So.
Yeah, I know. We're kind of split 50-50. It's like, but I kind of agree with him on that stuff. Like I've seen 09 twice. I've seen Into Darkness once in the theater. I
never watched it again.
Never watched it again.
Why haven't you watched it again?
I didn't much care for it.
It's good.
I also didn't watch the new Total Recall again, or the new RoboCop again.
Total Recall I watched, and I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, it was like, oh, it's a remake.
It's funny, when we were in Hollywood before the thing event started, we were at a big round table. There was probably 12 of us out there. And I'd say half of us loved it, half of us hated it.
Oh, there were people that didn't like it.
Oh, yeah.
Even after buttering them up with all this free stuff?
No. This is before.
Oh, okay.
I didn't really, because there was, like alcohol involved and partying and mingling and stuff like that. I didn't really actually talk much about the trailer after that.
Like, I don't remember much after that.
Well, it was such a whirlwind, if I've never been to a Hollywood event, and this was the first time I've ever been to one. I mean, I've been to big parties, like Las Vegas style parties, like corporate parties.
But then again,
this one was Star Trek. It was like,
and plus it was a 3-minute thing. There's not really much to think about it, really. I mean, you look at it and go, "Oh, that 1/2 second shot we saw was really cool."
I'll tell you what though. I wasn't thinking about the trailer. What I was thinking about is what I saw afterwards. The 3 scenes they showed us.
Oh.
Which were fantastic.
That's what I said last week. They should do what they did with Into Darkness. That had me more hyped up for Into Darkness. Just showing that first 10 minutes or whatever.
Yeah, that was episode.
Yeah, because that shows you some of the pacing. It shows you some of the camera work. It shows you. It kind of gives you a better idea of what this movie's going to be, instead of just giving you 300 scenes in a half-second, clips. That's not really telling you anything.
Again, these trailers, they're not made just for us. They're made for general audiences, and that's what you have to make it.
That's why I like the new Star Trek TV show trailer. That's really all you got to show.
Yeah.
We're all going to watch it. It doesn't matter. In fact, I would be all for don't ever show anything. Just show that. Just go, hey, starts in a week, Star Trek. Like, ooh.
Well, for us, that's great. But again, general audiences would be like, what is it?
Right. That's true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Is this the old Star Trek?
And you know what? I'm telling you, I've already got people. They saw this new trailer. The people that aren't the huge fans like us, they're already coming to me. They're like, hey, when are you gonna go see it? I want to go see it with you. I want to, they're like, I know you're a big Trekkie. I want to go see it with you.
Right.
So I've already.
Oh, we'll go see it. Yeah,
I've already got people that are not Trekkies approaching me because they know I am. I'm like the go-to guy, and they want to go see it with me. So it's kind of interesting.
Well, if you're gonna see it in Comic-Con, I'm gonna have to make other arrangements.
Well, I'm gonna be seeing it 2 days early at Comic-Con, but then I'll be back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
then we'll watch it then. And in the meantime, we are TrekCast. We are TrekCast.com. We are TrekCast
Video.
at gmail.com. We are TrekCast Video on YouTube. Oh, we have a Patreon. I keep forgetting
Patreon.
that. I'm not good at selling ourselves like that. Like, go give us money at Patreon. That's I always feel like
You're a horrible salesperson.
I know I want to pull my pockets out like, but like. No, but we have a Patreon. If you go to patreon.com/TrekCast and you can kind of subscribe to us, give us a couple bucks, and it's
That'd
like
be cool.
No, it'd be cool. And
So is Patreon? Does it work like they give subscriber bonuses or?
yeah, no, you say I'm going to give them like $15 a week, or I'm going to give them $2,000. Those are my suggestions, by the way. $2,000 a week or $15 a week. But
Well, if you're Paul Allen and you're listening to the show, please.
Right. Or you can say I want to give them $2 a month.
I
Whatever.
want to retire from working and just do TrekCast. I mean, that would be the thing to do.
I know. Well, you can see I've updated the studio a little bit.
It looks nice.
We'll go high def eventually, but I'm going to make sure that we're.
What are we, 720p or 480p?
I think we're. I don't know.
I gotta pee.
Well, there you have it, another episode in the can. Check us out at trekcast.com. Also, if you would, please subscribe to us via iTunes. Leave those reviews, subscribe to us, we get some numbers, get up the list, get more listeners, do more shows, have more fun. But for now, we're all done. So live long and prosper, and we'll see you next week.